I was a huge dork in high school, and I never thought that I would get a girlfriend. So I kind of latched onto the first girl that showed any interest in me.
Kids, we're back with Grayson Niles, who played John in The Party. I'm Tori Chancellor, one of the executive producers and co-writers. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
It was a long walk back
I
here
know.
to come back.
It was.
From week 1 to week 2. So thanks for making the long journey.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Okay.
If Jean wasn't playing an Aasimar Paladin, what species in class would he be?
Okay. I think he would definitely still want to be someone of status. Someone that people rely on or think is smart and knows what he's doing. So I'm feeling maybe a wizard.
Okay.
Someone studious, someone that has renown and respect. Maybe like a high elf wizard.
What would it take for Jean to play a low-class character? Would he ever?
You know, he would have to be low class, but he'd really have to be centered in the plot in a way that he still knows that it goes through him.
Chosen one energy?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
coming from nothing, coming to him, you're the chosen one, you have all these unlocked potential, even though you've done nothing to show it or earn it in any way.
It's just, destiny.
It's inherently, like a manifest destiny, low status character. That's Jean to a T.
I love that so much. Yeah, that sounds about right. At the end of the season, Jean and Thistle leave things off in a pretty platonic place. Did you think that was going to happen differently? And how do you think that their relationship will progress?
I think that it is good for both of them that it ended platonically. I think that it is, depending on how he handles it, I think it's a great opportunity that's been presented to him to grow. And I think that if he chooses to accept it, I think it'd be huge for him. Because it feels like this is an opportunity for him if he and Thistle remain platonic for maybe forever, maybe not, who knows. But it's giving him an opportunity to build a relationship under different pretexts than he's ever had before.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of...
I'm not getting big I've been friends with a girl vibe
Yes.
before.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
And how
I
do
think
you...
this is his first female relationship that is not romantic, and you can learn a lot from those.
Yeah.
So,
Seeing women as people?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Who knew?
Oh my god. I'm not a person, guys. I am just a holographic projection that
Exactly.
lives in this home.
Yeah. No, I think, he definitely... I like that I hope that they stay, or I'm not say what I hope, see what happens.
Say what you want to say.
But
say what you want to happen.
I think he really needs to learn and grow. Maybe they'll just become best friends and nothing more than that, which I think is fantastic. But
And he seems like
Yeah.
content with if that were.
I think he generally wants to because he was really humbled in a way that he did not see coming. And I think that it's crazy. It's because Thistle is in his D&D game and because he cares so much about D&D, it's almost like his first love.
Yeah.
I feel like the fact that it is now crossing with that. If it was something where if he was taking a pottery class, and this was someone in his pottery class, he might be like, okay, whatever. But the fact that he wants to keep everything together and be like, this is something that I really care about, and here's this other person, how do I fix this thing?
He's a fixer.
He's a fixer.
He's a fixer. So
Yeah.
that totally makes sense to me. If you had to project a Jean-centric episode for the future, what would you want to see there?
Oh, man. I would like to see him in an environment that he is so incredibly uncomfortable and to see how he responds to it. Like...
What's an uncomfortable situation for Jean?
Somewhere in which that has nothing to do, I think something that is very, kind of like an improv, with everything that's something that's extremely intuitive and something that's very in your body instead of your head. Maybe in like a gymnastics thing.
Oh my
Like
god, Jean
tumbling.
gymnastics when?
Yeah.
Yeah, tumbling,
Or-
interesting.
Or doing like a play I think he would memorize all his lines.
Oh my
But I
God.
think when it came down to it, it'd be very hard for him to execute.
Yeah, yeah, that I can definitely see that being uncomfortable for him
Yes.
for sure, because that's like a marathon with people that you
Yeah.
may or may not gel with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or in like a group-led guided meditation. I feel like he'd do really poorly at, because he wouldn't know how to beat it.
Yeah, that is
He
deeply
would
funny.
think about how to meditate the hardest and best.
And I love him for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Never change. Change a little bit, but mostly never change.
We have a barbarian in our party whose entire goal is to become a double king.
I don't know what that is.
No further explanation
Okay,
needed.
got it.
He didn't think that being a king was good enough, so he wanted to be a double king.
Mm-hmm.
And barbarian, very low intelligence, but just through a bunch of shenanigans, the small town that is being constructed on this new frontier
Mm-hmm.
that we're exploring our world with has a mayor that runs it, and an election came up in which he decided to run and convinced everyone.
He's starting low.
Yeah, so he's starting low. He kind of did it just for fun. He's like, it's sort of a leadership position. He wanted to become king of the place immediately, and then the mayor had to sit him down and be like, you can't do that because we already have things here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, how do I become in charge of stuff? He's like, well, you have to become mayor. And he's like, okay. So we then paused our main exploration that we were doing.
Did you
to-
run a campaign?
Yeah, we had a mayoral campaign, I really wanted him to become mayor to then use to get funding for my stuff that I wanted, because I have like a blacksmith shop in the town. So it's always great when you're friends with a mayor. And so he became mayor, he won, doesn't know how to read. So he then hired the former mayor as an aide to take care of the day-to-day as he goes on adventures and kills things. But he's still technically the mayor. But we actually, just in our last game, he questioned, because she was running things, and he's like, what? He's like, don't forget who's in charge now. And she pointed to the name on the desk. He's like, hey, whose name is it on the desk? And it says her name on it, but because he can't read, she's told him that it's his, and he goes, okay, well then that's good. And then left, and it was great.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's fun.
Yeah, that sounds really great.
Yeah.
So, but in addition to that, you were in a campaign with the cast of the party.
Yes.
And how has that been, and who are you playing?
I am playing a rogue, sort of kind of a homebrewed. I'm not sure where the exact subclass comes from, but it's sort of like a rogue doctor, like not quite a plague doctor, but a sort of, I think it's called Sawbones, and a medically inclined rat person. So I'm playing a little rat.
Size of a rat.
Rat-sized.
Interesting.
In this fantasy Victorian London steampunk setting.
Very cool.
So I'm like a little rat with a nice mustache and like a brown fitted vest. It's kind of a high society rat that wants to be a doctor. And so he's medically trained and has taught himself, or not taught himself, he's actually had a mentor. But you know, sutures and stitches. The weapon I use is a sewing needle.
That's crazy.
Great. And he's like an old-timey English socialite, but as a rat.
And what is the dynamic with the other castmates of the party within this game?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I love playing D&D with, it's a great mix of people that have never played and people that have experience playing. And I absolutely love playing D&D with people that have never played before because they get to see in real time what this game is. Because as much as you explain to someone what D&D is or how to play it, it doesn't really matter until you actually start doing it.
No way.
And they've been amazing. Like, the people that have never played before, it's so fun because you don't know what you're supposed to do
Yeah.
or like what the right fit. So then you just do stuff that's crazy and like, that's the
work it
best.
out.
And it's also really fun that, like, I love my long-term group that I've been playing with, but playing with other like actors and people that are like into trying voices or trying to do weird things and all sorts of stuff is super fun and just brings like a different element to it that is super enjoyable. And everyone's really great and meshes really well, and the story that has come together so far is super fun.
Screencast becomes IRL party.
It's great.
It's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you on social media, and do you have any projects you want to plug that are upcoming?
Yeah. I'm on TikTok
You can tell those
as
people.
at Grayson Niles Crane. And I'm also on Instagram at Grayson Niles. GraysonNiles.com too is a website that's in process, but there's some stuff on there. And I'm just shot some commercials this year, so you might see my face.
We're gonna see you
popping around.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you all so much for joining this week. I've been Tori Chancellor. This has been Grayson Niles. Watch the party. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
God, I want a set of these so bad. And these would be hard for me to not eat. Like, just in terms of chewing.
Yeah, like the ends have
Oh my
bits
God.
on it. It's like
These
an
are-
eraser.
I know. Oh! I
Maybe
really,
this is also double as an eraser now.
I wonder. Oh wait, that's pen.